Let me get rid of the recording in progress. Afternoon, everybody. Glad that you could join us today. And if you happen to be new to one of our Faith Community Action Team meetings, could you either say something in the chat or wave your hand or whatever? We'd be interested to know. Thank you. So I'm co-chair the Faith Community Action Team with Chelsea Horde, who is running a little late. You'll see her in a little bit. And I wanted to start off just to give you a little brief overview of the coalition. But before I do that, since I forgot, if you all will remain mute during the meeting, and if you have any questions, just add them in the chat, and we'll do our best to try to get to those at the end of the meeting. And if you have any helpful information in the chat, please share that as well. And just, you don't need to take notes. Juanella will send you out all the slides and the notes and the handouts for the meeting. So you will be expecting those. So to start with Dallas Coalition, Coalition was organized in 2012. And our mission, which is a new mission, is through cross-sector collaboration, DCHS works with the community to identify challenges and solutions towards achieving equitable access to healthy and nutritious food. So the coalition started off as a grassroots effort, multiple public and private entities in Dallas, all of which have a stake or interested in reducing food insecurity in Dallas County. So the coalition is comprised of a leadership team, and they are individuals representing 4 organizations, and you can see here. We meet every month, and we are organized into action teams. So these are 5 action teams that we have, that our coalition is divided up into, and this is for most of our focus work is. Each action team develops their own goals and objectives and focus areas. So this is how we are organized. There's a leadership team member that chairs, one or more leadership members that chair each of these action teams. They also meet, it varies, but mostly every other month or every 2 or 3 months. We are the Faith Community Action Team. And as you can see, our strategy is to equip congregations to implement 1 or more hunger solutions proven to reduce food insecurity. And this is particularly among seniors and children. And again, our leadership team circle includes Chelsea Horde from Dallas Baptist Association, myself, and Pastor Julius Bamibe, who is with Comforter Christian Center. And one last thing I wanted to mention is that sorry, lost my train of thought. That how we complete our goals is through a toolkit, and Juanella is going to show you that in just a second right now. So there it is. If you have any questions, put them in the chat.
Thank you, Dabney. Yes, good afternoon. So this is the 5th edition of our Hunger Solutions for the Faith Community Toolkit, and it is a guide for congregations who are interested in helping to improve food security in Dallas County. And I'm going to open this link here, if it will let, well, it probably won't. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let's see. Okay. You can find this toolkit on our Faith Community. Can you see my screen? Or can you see the website now? But this is a new share. Let me try a new share. Let me see. There it is. Okay, so yes, no, you can see the website. I'm not hearing anyone.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, thank you. So, all right, so this is our DallasHunger.org website, and on our website is a Faith Community Hunger Solutions Action Team page. All of our action teams have a page on our website. You can see here the drop down: child hunger, faith community, public policy, senior hunger, and urban agriculture. Okay, and on this page, there's some information about how we collaborate together and what it is we're trying to accomplish together, who are the co-chairs. And you can find this guide. You can find the Hunger Solutions for the Faith Community Guide. It is, it can be downloaded as a PDF. It is available to you. You can read it online, or you can download it and save it. This is the 5th edition that we updated in 2021. There's a table of contents, and inside this toolkit are organizations and programs that are already working to address hunger and poverty among our neighbors in and around Dallas. As you scroll through, there's an introduction, of course. There's contact information in here for our faith leadership, our faith action team leadership circle. And then there's a page for each of the organizations and programs already working to implement strategies to reduce hunger and food insecurity and to create equitable access solutions for many of our neighbors. The American Heart Association was added recently. There's an overview here of what they do, their impact on hunger, and how to help, how congregations can get involved, and contact information. There's a page for community gardens. There's an overview of how community gardens can impact hunger and food insecurity and create access to fresh food. The impact on hunger, how to help, and contact information. The Community Distribution Partnership is a strategy, and there are 2 organizations implementing this initiative. Crossroads on the west side of Dallas County, and Sharing Life on the east side of Dallas County. And these organizations work with partner agencies on the east side and the west side and southwest and northwest and southeast and northeast. And they work with those organizations to provide a distribution channel to neighbors in those parts of the county. And so congregations can partner with, can become community distribution partners with Sharing Life and Crossroads. And so there's information here, about how congregations can get involved, and there's contact information. Public policy roundtable. So today, our topic is going to touch on child hunger policy. And so this is a page dedicated to how congregations can learn more about public policy and advocacy and the impact on hunger and how they can help. There's contact information here. Eating Well as a SNAP is our senior hunger outreach project. Congregations can host Eating Well as a SNAP presentations. We have a volunteer speakers bureau who are willing, whose members are willing to go around and present this program. How to help, again, contact information. Meals on Wheels, an overview of Meals on Wheels, how to help, contact information. Out of school child meals. We have a speaker today who's going to talk about out of school child meals, particularly summer meals, and how congregations can support and engage with the summer meals program in your communities. There's contact information. And then Super Schools. Super Schools is essentially adopting a school and working with a school to establish a food pantry on that campus. A lot of schools are finding now that they need to be an access point for nutritious food for many of the students and families enrolled in their schools. So there's information about that. Senior community meals, how congregations can support senior centers where seniors may come and receive a hot meal daily, 5 days a week, as well as fellowship and information about services and programs that can help them remain independent and thrive. So how to help, contact information. And then more hunger solutions at the back of the guide. Cooking Matters is a program of the North Texas Food Bank. Congregations can host a Cooking Matters program. Super Bowl of Caring is an annual food drive congregations can participate in. Virtual SNAP assistance, the North Texas Food Bank has a method for providing SNAP assistance virtually to people either online or over the telephone. Help Finder is a database which helps anyone find low cost or free programs in the community. VOMO is an online volunteer platform. Congregations and groups can be a neighbor at vomo.org. So, and then 211, there's information about 211, which is a statewide database of services and programs that are available. And then there are a couple of tools at the back about to help congregations get started on implementing some of these programs and partnering with some of these programs. So, okay, so there's that. I'm through you again. It's available on our website. And let's see, I'm going to share it here. There it is again. That's what it is. And you can download it for free. Okay, so I'm done. Has Chelsea joined us now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Wanella, and thank you to all the participants that have taken time out of their schedule to be here. A special thanks to our two speakers for this afternoon. I'm going to be introducing both of them, and then we will be hearing from Lupe Conchas first. And after he speaks, there will be a time for participants to ask questions. So if you do have a question for either speaker, just go ahead and put that in the chat box, and we will get to those during the Q&A time. And so those can be ready to go, and we'll be sure those get asked and answered. And after Lupe, we'll be having Kristen Chan, who'll be sharing with us today too. So Lupe is actually the Southwest Regional Organizer for Bread for the World. He's responsible for creating, growing, and sustaining a network of anti-hunger advocates and coalitions across Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. So he stays very busy. He's got a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Arizona, and he's been a community organizer for the past 11 years. Advocating for an end to hunger and poverty is important to Lupe because of his personal experience as a child and teenager, not knowing when he would receive his next meal. His faith has inspired him to dedicate his life to address food insecurity and to advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves. So again, Lupe, we're excited to hear from you. And if you've been with us a couple months back, you recognize him. So we're looking forward to his presentation today. And then we also are very thankful to have Kristen Chan with us today. And Kristen is the Coalition Child Hunger Specialist for the Baylor Collaborative on Hunger and Poverty. She works in the North Texas office, so she is local here. Kristen works with communities to fight hunger with a focus on child hunger outreach, while also providing support to the North Texas team's coalition work. So we're grateful to her. Prior to joining the Baylor Collaborative team, Kristen worked in nutrition education for the North Texas Food Bank, and she graduated from the University of Texas at Austin with a bachelor's degree in nutrition. During her junior year of college, she worked as an after-school program instructor with It's Time Texas, which taught kids about nutrition and health. And that's where she developed a deep desire to serve the people who experience food insecurity. And she loves seeing others be able to create lasting, healthy lifestyles. So Kristen, thank you for joining us today as well. And with that, we're going to turn it over to Lupe. Again, if questions pop up, just place them in the chats, and we'll have time to get to those after each of our speakers. So Lupe, we're turning it over to you.
Hello, everyone, and I'm assuming that you can see my screen. So welcome, and I'm just really appreciative of Dallas Hunger Solutions for inviting me to the Faith Community Action Team meeting. My name is Lupe Conchas, and as you heard in my bio, I'm the Southwest Regional Organizer for Bread for the World, in charge of Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and this weekend I visited Dallas, and now I'm in Washington, D.C., here with a conference that we're hosting on advocacy, and we had Hill meetings yesterday. So I'm super excited to get to talking to you all today about the important issues and letting you know how you can be more involved with advocacy and with Bread for the World. I want you to also save the date. I will be visiting Dallas and Fort Worth, May 16th through the 20th. So if you'd like to grab coffee or have an office meeting, I know that me and Waynell already are planning to meet while I'm there. I would definitely love to visit your church, your community, your organization, and just have a conversation with you about how I can be the best resource for you when it comes to advocacy. Today's agenda highlights include introductions, which we already have done a little bit of in the chat. Who is Bread for the World? A legislative update. Why do we advocate? And then talking about writing letters and emails to our members of Congress. And please excuse me while I get my stopwatch so that I don't go over time today. So you all have used the chat box already, but if you haven't, take this opportunity to write your name. Tell us why you're joining us, where you're joining us from, and are you part of an organization or a faith community? So who is Bread for the World? So for those who have not heard of Bread for the World, we are a faith-based organization that's advocating for the end of hunger through legislation and policy. Bread for the World was established in 1974 by a Lutheran pastor who worked with other Christian denominations and interfaith faith leaders to work on the resolution to the right to food. And it took more than 3 years in order to get that resolution passed in the U.S. House and U.S. Senate, and that's because they grew a grassroots organizing strategy and wrote letters to the members of Congress and met with them in order to get that passed. And so ever since 1974, Bread for the World has been working on anti-hunger and poverty legislation.
Bread for the World is a collective Christian advocacy organization that urges Congress to pass Bread for the World is a collective Christian advocacy organization that urges Congress to pass legislation to end hunger and poverty at home and abroad. Hundreds of millions experience hunger and poverty around the globe. And these numbers have grown exponentially since the coronavirus pandemic began. A key advocacy and organizing tool at Bread for the World to fulfill our mission and God's call to end hunger and poverty is our offering of letters to Congress. It is an opportunity to put our faith in action, inviting congregations, campuses, or groups to gather together to write personalized letters or emails to Congress to reduce hunger and poverty through legislative action. Over the years, these letters and emails have helped win victories and address hunger issues and their root causes, such as global hunger, our broken immigration and criminal justice systems, and the racial wealth gap. In recent years, these efforts secured passage of the Global Food Security Reauthorization Act, a bill that ensures support for smallholder farmers and addresses the nutrition needs of women and children around the world. These efforts also helped pass COVID-19 relief bills to increase the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program by 15% and extend pandemic EBT to provide groceries for children who lost access to free and reduced price lunches due to school closures. These are significant wins when so many Americans struggled to put food on the table. Visit our website, available in English and Spanish, and get the latest tools and tips to plan your event and write Congress to support effective anti-hunger programs and policies around the world. Be sure to contact your bread organizer for detailed advice and promote your event. By putting your faith in action through the offering of letters, you are helping families to put food on the table and ensure our nation and world have access to a healthy, sustainable future. Together, we can end hunger in our lifetime.
Great. And I do see that there are some folks putting things in the chat. So if there's anything that I should know about, I can't read the chat at the moment in presenter mode, just let me know. So we do have 2 Texas board members, which include Jeremy Everett, who is the founder and executive director on the Baylor Initiative on Hunger and Poverty. Also Dr. Kate Weaver, who's associate dean at the University of Texas, Austin. And also want to emphasize that we welcome folks of all faith communities. We do lots of interfaith work with a variety of different faiths. And so we are a Christian-based organization, but we want to make sure that you understand that we work with all faiths, all organizations, anyone that has the shared value and shared mission of ending hunger. We are going to happily work with you. So Bread for the World has 74,141 members nationwide. And in 2021, we've written over 76,000 letters to our members of Congress. Some of our coalition partners include Feeding Texas, the Cooperative Baptist Fellowship Texas, Baylor Collaborative on Hunger and Poverty, Texas Impact, and of course, you all. So understanding our impact, as you heard in that video, some of the things that we've worked on in 2021 include anti-hunger measures included in the COVID-19 relief bills. So as you've heard, it's a 15% SNAP increase, formerly called the food stamp program, pandemic unemployment insurance, debt relief for socially disadvantaged farmers, funding for international COVID-19 response. And so folks from churches and our members have written letters on these things, and this is what we're able to get passed. So going into our legislative update, talking about the issues and the policies. Just a quick update on the Global Malnutrition Treatment and Prevention Act of 2021. It actually passed yesterday by the US House of a margin of 388 to 44. And 102 total co-sponsors from across the country, and 7 of those co-sponsors were from the state of Texas. And so those are co-sponsors, but more people, of course, voted and supported it. Getting into the reason why we're here today is school meals and the family, and talking about the Family First Coronavirus Response Act and the US Department of Agriculture waivers. And so the Family First Response Act allows USDA the ability to issue nationwide waivers to further increase flexibilities. The FNS has issued numerous nationwide waivers to make it as easy as possible for children to receive these meals. As a result of these waivers, schools and other sponsors are creatively feeding kids by delivering meals on bus routes, allowing parents to pick up a week's worth of meals at a time, and entering public-private partnerships that have provided meals to kids in rural areas. The Family First Coronavirus Response Act also lets states provide EBT benefits to children who would normally be receiving free and reduced lunch meals if schools were not closed due to COVID-19, known as the pandemic EBT. And so we know that some of these waivers have already expired and some of these waivers are set to expire. So it's important for us to get to know a little bit more about which are expiring and why it's important that we continue these flexibilities. And also every 5 years, the Child Nutrition Reauthorization Act, which is here in this slide, provides Congress with an opportunity to improve and strengthen child nutrition and school meal programs. And although the current law, the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010, expired on September 30th, 2015, the programs continue to operate. Congress has an important opportunity in 2022 to improve the health of millions of our nation's children by passing a strong reauthorization bill that strengthens and expands child nutrition programs. It is unlikely that Congress will address the child nutrition reauthorization this year. And so that's why our voices are extremely important. So that our members of Congress, our senators in Texas, and our representatives know that children need to be fed and that families need to be alleviated from hunger. For more information, you can find, you can go to the USDA website /coronavirus/school meals, and it'll list all of the waivers from USDA, and it'll go more into detail about them. And so why do we advocate? If you could put in the chat, why do you advocate? Why do you care? My reason for why do I advocate is because I know exactly what it's like not to know where my next meal will come from. When I was 4 years old, my father moved us into an abandoned trailer that he found in the middle of a field. And I remember eating sardines, crackers, and grape soda because it only cost $1.50. And it wasn't until I enrolled in school and got the free and reduced lunch program that I understood that other kids didn't live like I did. That's when I found out that not every kid lived in poverty like my family. You know, getting 3 meals a day was something new to me. And so that's why it's super important for me to advocate, because I know exactly what it's like to live in hunger and to live in poverty. And those programs provided by my school, by the local, state, and federal governments was able to nourish my brain, nourish my body, and help me learn and become the first person in my family to graduate high school and go to the University of Arizona. And now here advocating on the national level for millions and millions of children across the country. So let us know your why. So we have an advocacy calendar with Bread for the World. The first part of the advocacy calendar is writing to your members of Congress and to your representatives. They want to hear from you. And it's important that we're uplifting these issues. You can host a letter writing event, which I'm going to ask you to do following this meeting and in the next few weeks or the next few months. You can also attend our advocacy summit. We have a virtual gathering coming up on June 2nd, but also you could join us here in Washington, D.C. June 6th and 7th. And last but not least, schedule a meeting with your members of Congress. So writing letters and emails to Congress. Let me go ahead and move this up a little bit in case you can see it. Help us advocate for the end of hunger and poverty through handwritten letters, emails, and collective petitions on these issues. There are 6 easy steps for hosting a letter writing event. Number 1 is completing our registration form. It's a Google form that I've created in order to keep track of our impact. Review our offering of letters toolkit, which I've created specifically for the Southwest region. You can order materials and print resources such as postcards, postage stamps, envelopes, letterhead, whatever you need to do your letter writing event. I can provide those resources to you and ship them to your house, or I could get those print orders sent to a FedEx office near you. Then we ask you to write your letters to Congress, celebrate and report your results to me, and then schedule a meeting with your member of Congress, which I will help you do. So we're just reviewing that again. Complete the registration form, review the offering of letters toolkit, order materials and print resources, write your letters, celebrate and report your results, and schedule a meeting with your member of Congress. So our timeline is April launch. This is a soft deadline. It's not a hard deadline. So May 29th, we put this as a deadline for our collective offering of letters because we want to then deliver those physical letters to our members of Congress when we do our advocacy summit or meet with our members of Congress. So although it says May 29th there, you could do it beyond that. But we want to get those done within a shorter amount of time. Churches that are currently writing letters are here. Some that you may know is, I just visited Wilshire Baptist Church in Dallas on Sunday, and they have completed their letter writing and they're off to their next step of scheduling a meeting with a member of Congress. You can see on here that St. Charles Borromeo Church in Houston, And then a variety of different churches in Arizona and New Mexico and Oklahoma, as well as some churches that have signed up. But like I said, not only do we work with churches, but we also work with organizations. So for example, we did a training on the letter writing campaign with Islamic Relief USA in Texas, and they have done a letter, signed up to do a letter writing themselves. So it can be an organization, it could be a church, it can be a food bank as well. Anybody could write letters to the members of Congress in this letter writing process. So simple ways to get involved: write to your members of Congress, host a letter writing event, attend the Advocacy Summit, attend a meeting with your member of Congress, just to recap. And these are the dates for the Advocacy Summit, the virtual gathering, which I invite all of you to do. Join us via Zoom. We'll be on June 2nd at 3 p.m. Central Time. June 6th and 7th, we'll be in Washington, D.C. And then we invite you to join us for our in-district office meetings, either in person or via Zoom, the month of June, July, and August. I'll send Waionella this registration link for you to register. It's a simple 8-question survey, and it just lets me know what topics you'd like to write your letters on, and if you need any assistance or resources. And it's a bit.ly link. Our next regional gathering, like I said, is Thursday, June 2nd. And now time for questions. So this is our interactive piece. If you could put in the chat A, B, C, or D. Will you host a letter writing event to advocate against child hunger? A is yes. B is that you need more information. We understand that, I just covered a lot of information in the last 15 minutes. Maybe that means you're considering it, but still a little bit unsure. And then D, not interested at this time. Maybe your workload and the things that you're doing in your church are, you already have a lot going on, or maybe it's not the right way for you to advocate right now. So go ahead and put in the chat A, B, C, or D. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and check the chat. Let's see. Awesome. So we got some A's and some C's. So if you can go ahead and enter in the chat, A, yes, B, needs more information, C, maybe, and D, not interested at this time. All right. Well, thank you so much to everyone for your time. I try to go really quickly. I think I went a little bit too quickly because I still have quite a bit of time left, but that'll leave us enough time for the next presentation and also for questions that you have. But if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and I'll be happy to respond to them. Or you can also unmute yourself. All right, and I'll pass the mic either back to Chelsea.
Yes, thank you, Lupe. We appreciate it. That is great information. And again, we'll keep an eye on the chat. So if you think of any further questions for him, please drop them in there and there'll be another chance at the end of both presentations for Q&A. So thank you again, Lupe. And up next, we have Kristen Chan.
Are you done? Oh. Great. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kristen Chan, and I'm the child hunger specialist with the Baylor Collaborative on Hunger and Poverty at the North Texas. So we support child hunger work with a coalition-based approach in North Texas, and also we work a lot with our partners like No Kid Hungry, Dairy Max, American Heart Association, and TDA as well. So we also do a lot of research, develop, and help implement best practices in child hunger outreach. Today, I will focus mainly on summer meal programs and kind of share a little bit about how congregations can help support summer meals this year. So first, I will give an overview of the summer meal programs and summer meals impact in 2021. And then towards the end, I will share how you can get involved to promote summer meals in your community. So here, as you can see, we have two different summer meal programs. First, we have Summer Food Service Program, which we usually refer it as SFSP program. And also we have the Seamless Summer Option, SSO. So first, the SFSP program is federally funded, administered by the TDA, Texas Department of Agriculture. So this program reimburses providers who serve free healthy meals to children and teens in low-income areas during the summer months when school is out of session. So, and then the SSO program is for schools participating in the National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program. So it has less paperwork, so it makes it easier for schools to feed children during the summer vacation period. So once approved, schools can serve free meals to children, including teenagers through age 18. So same as the SFSP program, meals are reimbursable for like school lunch, school breakfast, and after school snacks as well. So next up, we have some common terms that we use for summer meals. First, we have the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. So they oversee and facilitate the program at the national level. And then we have TDA, as I mentioned earlier, they administrate the program and they also help communicate with USDA. And then we have sponsors. So sponsors could be schools, local government agencies, camps, faith-based community, and also these are organizations that agrees to help run the program. So sponsors, they can get reimbursed by the program and they might have multiple sites. So sites are places like churches, hospitals, apartment complexes, or like schools or parks. So they work directly with the sponsors. So now that we have talked a little bit about the two different summer meal programs, so now I want to share a little bit of the Wafer updates for this summer. As some of you guys might know, Congress did not extend the waivers in response to COVID-19 pandemic. So that means all the waivers will expire on June 30th. So this will not be available for summer meal program operations this year. So here are some examples that I have up here. So summer meals will not be available in all the area at no cost. Kids will not have able to take meals with them out of the site, so they have to eat the meals on site. And parents and guardians are not allowed to pick up meals for their children. So there will not be any bulk meal pickup this year. So that's why kind of like Lupe were sharing, it's the perfect time for us to advocate for our school meal programs. So also next up, we have some summer meal numbers I want to share. So this is kind of like a comparison of last summer in comparison of the year before. So it will be 2020 compares to 2021. So as you guys can see here, I have the total meal served and the number of sponsors in Dallas County. So there's a huge, significant increase between 2020 and 2021. So we can see there's an increase of 360,000 meals, even though we lost 5 sponsors in Dallas County. So a lot of this is because we moved some of the restrictions on sharing meals due to COVID. So something like non-congregate feeding, which means that kids did not have to eat the meals at the site. And then sites can provide bulk meal pickups. A lot of these changes allow families to participate in the summer meal programs. So these numbers are helpful for us as we move forward as coalition in terms of advocacy for our work. So we talk a lot about the impacts of summer meals. So now I want to share a little bit on how you can help us to promote the program. So here are some ways that you can help. You can help spread the word, become a site, adopt a site, or donate. So we'll go over all of these options together. So for summer meal marketing, we have a lot of digital materials that you can access online. You can download all these materials through this link that I've attached here. So they have, it's provided by TDA. They offer a lot of materials like this that you can download, and they are in both English and Spanish as well. So here I have some examples of the web banner and the web button. So this is materials that you can kind of share on your website, social media pages, and emails that you sent. So we also use a lot of the physical outreach materials for our summer meal programs. So they can be posters, door hangers, yard signs, bookmarks, or parent information cards. So you can use all these resources maybe at your church building, hand them out to your congregation during summer. I have also attached like a request form. So if you guys are interested for us to deliver some of these materials to you, feel free to fill the form out, and then we will arrange a time to deliver some of these materials to you guys. And I also want to share good resource from No Kid Hungry. So there's No Kid Hungry Resource Center. So this is a good place to learn more about summer meals. If you're interested, they offer webinars or like outreach materials that you can download as well. So that's something that you can also utilize on your website, emails that you send out to your congregations. So next is to become a site. Like I mentioned earlier, a summer meal site is the location that serves free meals to children 18 years old and under. So for SFSP sites, it could be different type of settings, like I shared earlier. But in this case, if you want to become a site, that will be your church. So for this case, the sponsors would financially responsible for the operation of your meal site. So they will be responsible for applications, meal pattern requirements, reimbursements, and all the paperwork as well. So your organization will only have to serve the meals from the sponsors. So you might need to recruit some volunteers from your church, and they will receive a training from the sponsors. And then they might also require your site to sign an agreement that outlines all the responsibility of your site. So also you'll have to, of course, serve the meals under the USDA guidelines and also record the number of meals served. So here is the link to the No Kid Hungry map. It also kind of shows you a way to kind of for you to determine. You can go on this map website and then enter your site address, and it will show if the area of your church is eligible for the program. So also, if you don't know like all the details, feel free to contact me and I will walk you through the process as well. And then finally, you can adopt a site. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can partner with a potential site to host a school backpack drive. You can gather all the school supplies from your congregation that they donate for the kids. And then also you can provide volunteers to help at a site, maybe to provide activities, sport games and things like that for the site. So here we have an opportunity I want to share with you. It's called What's for Lunch. This program is organized by Literacy Conchas. So they will provide books to churches that partner with summer meal programs. So they will also provide you with like all the resources that you will need for the book drive. And you only have to recruit volunteers, maybe collect all the books from your congregation, can do a book drive, and also have volunteers to go through all the books and make sure that it's good for kids. And you also have to have volunteers to be going to the site with the books and also maybe reading books for kids, or like listening to their like report on how the book is, things like that. So just kind of like a good way to interact with the site and the students at the site. So here I have included email from the representative from Literacy Conchas. If you have any questions, feel free to email him. And also he said if the first 7 people to contact him from today's meeting, you guys will get some incentives as well. So this is a great time to participate at the program if you're interested. Okay, last but not least, I have included some of the resources about summer meals and how to participate in the SFSP program. So if you're interested, you can go to this resources, and also feel free to contact me if you have any questions or you want to become a site, or you want to learn more about summer meal programs. Feel free to email me at this email address. And I want to thank you so much for all that you guys do for the community and helping to ensure that children in our community have access to nutritious meals all summer long. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much, Kristen, for all of that information. And so we'll take any questions that you may have in the chat. While we're waiting for questions, Kristen, would you mind putting some of those websites in the chat box there that people can access? Thank you.
Sure, I can do that.
Perfect. And I see that we also have Lester on the call with us today too. So he's readily available. If you have any questions about the What's for Lunch program, go ahead and drop those there too while we've got him. And Kristen, could you explain if a faith partner is interested in becoming a site, how could they go about connecting with a sponsor that's in their area?
That's a very good question. So of course you can email me and then I can walk you through all this. But then we also have a program. It's called Excellence in Summer Meals. It's a catalog that have like a list of sponsors that we recommend. They've been serving very nutritious, healthy meals in our community. So those are the sponsors that we recommend. But if you have any questions, I can email you the catalog and also walk you through the process of picking sponsors that works for your site.
Great, thank you.
I'm not going to put mine in the chat. I'm just going to ask it. Kristen, so a sponsor provides meals at a site. Everyone is not in a position to be a sponsor. Is there anything special about or anything needed to be a site? You know, I know sponsors have more fiscal responsibility, but for a site, what is needed? Bare bones, you know, what's the minimum that an organization or a location needs to be able to offer meals to children in the surrounding area?
Yes, that's a good question. So kind of like what I shared earlier, one of the slides that I share, it has kind of like the map that you can, a site can go there and enter the address. And that's going to show you if the area is eligible to serve meals. So that's the first step, because you want to make sure that's okay, like first to serve meals. And then also mainly the sponsors, they will work on paperwork. They will also help the site to get approved. So that's kind of on their end. But then for the site, of course, you want to have at least like one site supervisor. So that person will be kind of in charge of counting the meals on the side and make sure that all the kids get what they need. So it's kind of like a person designated just to kind of for the site operations.
Okay, so I didn't see the map. I don't know if it was just me, but I didn't see a map when you were doing your presentation. Maybe I overlooked it or something.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, I can share it in the chat as well.
Okay, the link.
Yes, the link of it, yes.
Okay. So, but it's important that a site be located in an area where there's need. That has to sort of be demonstrated or something, or is a site has to be in an area where there's need.
Yes, so the map kind of shows the information is also like from the census data, so kind of shows the income requirements and all that. So a site can also be like a closed site, which it could be like summer camps or like VBS that a church will host in summertime. So that if you're kind of like operate a closed site, you'll have to make sure that the kids in that site, they meet the income requirement. So, and then that's kind of like, you will need to go through the paperwork and all that. But then for like open site, it kind of opens up to the community, where this would also be helpful for a site to determine if they are eligible to serve meals.
So there's an open site option, and there's a
Yes.
closed site option. Closed sites have enrollment, right? These are children enrolled in some kind of program at an organization. So only those children are being served at a closed site. But an open site is a site where there's no enrollment, and children may come if they can get there.
Yes, that's correct. But if any of you guys like don't kind of like let that to be your barriers to become a site, because if you like contact us, we'll walk you through all this like difficult step by step. I know it's like a lot of information like all at once. So
yeah, but sometimes I know there can be multiple sites in close proximity to each other, or I know you work with sponsors and sites to try to avoid that, because there are areas that have an abundance that might have an abundance of riches, and then another area is completely without, so I guess I'm trying to I just want to make sure everybody understands how, and I know you'll walk them through it, but we've got folks here, so I'm just trying to make sure they can get as much as they can while they're here. So it's the sponsor's responsibility to see that there isn't a site on every corner. Does that,
yeah,
or to decide placement of sites so that we're reaching the most children who are not the same children, right?
yes. So TDA has like some requirement where like sites can be as well. So for example, like sites cannot be 0.25 miles, like kind of like there's a distance, like they cannot be within like 0.25 miles to each other. But also there are kind of like a way to wait for that, because sometimes it might be across the highway. So kids cannot access, like they cannot cross the highway, even the site is maybe 0.1 mile away. So there are ways that we can work on that. And also the sponsors would kind of like help to communicate with the TDA on that as well. So yeah. If Catherine, you have something to add, feel free to do it as well.
No, there are waivers in place, and that happens a lot in Dallas, that we get sites close together due to the fact that transportation and safe routes are a concern. And so that's why you will see an abundance of sites close together, especially in Dallas. In addition, if you're looking to some ways to see after you check the area eligibility map from No Kid Hungry, and you're like, hey, we're in an eligible area, but are there sites close to me? Two good ways to check if there are sites near you is I just dropped a link in the chat. It's the summer meal site map, and it will be online live soon in the next couple of weeks. And you can become a summer meal site throughout the whole summer. There's opportunity to be had. It takes a quick amendment to a sponsor's application, usually takes 15 days, and we'll get you up and running. So don't, if you're looking at this and you're waiting for that data and you want to wait till the start of June, that's okay. There's still time. Another great option to do is to text the phone, text the line 304-304 and ask for food. And that's going to tell you the nearest sites to your address. So you can type in your church address or your site address and see what other sites pop up and how close they are to you. And that might also help determine if your site is eligible to be serving meals. So those are a few things to take into consideration for your site. I also wanted to build upon not only eligibility, but if you have a location where you know families are coming, or perhaps you're offering another like pantry service, something else in addition to the family that you know they're bringing kids and you recognize this and there are other services being provided by your church, that would be a great way to identify if you would be a good summer meal site. If you're hosting a vacation Bible school that you're bringing in children outside of your church, being a closed site might be an amazing option, or even children within your church. There's a lot of, we encourage having some kind of programming at your sites because it does engage families to come and to participate. That's why Lester's program is great too, because the kids are not only getting a meal, then they're getting, an enrichment opportunity as well. And so that's what we encourage in like bare minimums of when we're looking for sites. Are you in an eligible area? Do you have maybe some kind of enrichment program or something that draws families in to come and participate? And are you ready to be open for, at least 8 weeks? We would love 8 weeks, but we'll take 1 week, whatever you can provide. It would be great. Appreciated by the community.
And so I don't want to hog the conversation, but you bring up how summer meals can be served all summer. And we know that June, many of the school districts that have summer classes in June might be serving meals on their school campuses through June, and then they shut down after June. That might be a time for a congregation to pick up in that community, to pick up the ball in that community and continue and become a site in order to continue serving meals through until school starts up again. Does that happen? Can that happen?
That can happen. And in fact, I would encourage that perhaps our faith communities step up more than ever this year, because we do know we've been hearing from school districts that they are going to end their programs at the end of June due to 2 years of continuous service and the waivers dropping off, and they would have to relaunch a whole new program. They're not going to continue service after June 30th. And so a lot of our districts that have served all summer will not this summer. So we are going to see a massive decrease in sites. So we would love, if our faith communities are available and willing, we would love to get you connected to be a service, maybe start serving in July, so we're not having such a decrease in the site and this loss of meal participation.
And it looks like we did have one question pop up from Mrs. Robertson, and it says, how do we know what are the best catering resources and how do we get to select? And I think that's in regards to sponsors. So how would a site church kind of go about selecting what would be the best fit sponsor for them?
Kristen, do you want to take it back?
Yes. So kind of like what I mentioned earlier. So we'll suggest like sponsors from our Excellence in Summer Meals catalog. So also there are like sponsors might serve, for example, like Collin County or like Dallas County. So we do have like different sponsors in different counties. So that's also available for you to see on the catalog as well. So, and then also other sponsors that we have on that catalog, they all like kind of like went through the Excellence in Summer Meals program. So that's the ones that we suggest. But also if like you contact us, and then we'll kind of share what are some of the sponsors that we suggest in the area of your site. And then we'll kind of work with you on that as well. So they also kind of serve meals that for like dietary restrictions, if you have some kids that have that needs, so they can work with you guys on that as well. So I know sometimes that's kind of important.
Great. So really looking at the type of food that you need and where the sponsor is providing service and the times and things like that can kind of help narrow down which sponsor might be a good fit for you. Great. And Kristen told us that resource about the catalog of sponsors. So anybody can check that if they're interested in becoming a site and connecting with the sponsor. And then Lester, since you're on the call, is there anything you'd like to share about the What's for Lunch opportunity? So churches and faith organizations can provide enrichment opportunity while kiddos are getting their summer meals. So.
Yes, in fact, I'd like to say that helping children read at least 6 books during the summer will help them avoid the summer reading slide. That is, they won't lose what they gained in the previous year, according to a lot of research. So I've already received 1 call during this webinar from someone who wants one of those grants for books. So I'd love to hear from more of you. And what we're intending to do is stimulate participation in this and provide a way for those sites to provide a reading program. So I'd love to talk with you today or at some other point about how you can do the What's for Lunch program. And thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Lester. Appreciate that. And Kristen and Catherine, we sure appreciate all of y'all coming on here. And Catherine's dropped another link in the chat box there for an updated list of sponsors. So you can check that out as you have need. We'll leave that up for a little bit. So if you want to copy and save some of those links or go ahead and open them up and save them in your browsers, feel free to do that. Any other questions at this time? I'm not seeing any that are popping up. All right. Well, a big thank you to both of our presenters today. We sure appreciate everything that you're doing to help children in our community get the food that they need. So thank you so much for that. And at this time, I'll turn it back over to Wynella. Any closing announcements? Oh, Pastor Bimibe, there we go. Great.
Yes, hello, everybody. This is, excuse me, Pastor Julius Bimibe from Comforter Christian Center International here in Grand Prairie. We want to say thank you to everyone that participated in this today's program, taking out some time out of your busy schedule to join us today. We really and truly appreciate your time. I would like to know if there's any announcement from anyone online today. If there's any announcement, anything you would like us to know further, from what we've had in the meeting today. So please, if there's any other announcement I would like to bring forth, this is the time for that. Please feel free, let us know. Any announcement, please?
Well, if there are no announcements, then we'll just go to the next slide. And Dabney, I think you're going to close us out.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for everybody being here. Great opportunity to learn more information about how we as a faith community can get involved in our community to mitigate hunger. We have our next meeting is scheduled for September 1st at 1:30. Again, that's a Thursday, first Thursday in September. So please put that on your calendar. We'd love to have you. We don't have any agenda yet, but we will be with you soon about that. And anything else, Wynell, that you have?
Well, we hope that meeting will be an in-person meeting, actually.
Oh, yeah,
we're gonna strive for that. And we're thinking about highlighting community gardens and how congregations can organize community gardens and the resources that are available. And there's a new project taking root around Dallas called community orchards and food forests. Congregations can become sites for fruit trees and fruit-bearing trees. And so we're probably going to highlight that. So look for more information about that. You can,
Anything else? Yeah, anything else anybody wants to share last minute?
you can follow us on social media. Okay.
There we are. Thanks again for everybody being here. I guess the meeting is adjourned early, I'll say. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks for the speakers.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lupe and Kristen.
Kristen.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll look forward to seeing you, Lupe, in Dallas. If you want to meet with Lupe, or if you want him to connect with you when he's in Dallas, May 16th through the 20th, email him. He's put his email in the chat and arrange. He's going to be here all week. Okay. Thank you, Al.
Bye.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a blessed